Imagine being the absolute, undisputed king of a booming industry, and then just watching your empire crumble from the inside out. Today's explainer takes a hard look at Upwork, the gig economy's biggest player, and exactly how a relentless drive for profit brought it right to its knees. Okay, let's dive into this.
It's the ultimate corporate mystery, isn't it? How does a massive platform, built entirely on connecting millions of remote workers with companies around the world, basically lose its entire value? Well, the answer is honestly kind of brutal. This titan of remote work essentially destroyed itself by aggressively squeezing its most loyal users for every last penny. And the sheer scale of this financial collapse? It's literally jaw-dropping. We're talking about a massive 86% drop in market capitalization. Upwork went from a towering $7.5 billion valuation all the way down to barely $1 billion. It's just a staggering freefall for a company that once seemed completely untouchable.
Chapter 1. The Freelancer Fee Trap. This is really where the trouble started.
So back in the 2010s, remote work was kind of this wild frontier. Upwork, which you might remember used to be called Freelance Odesk, had some incredibly annoying features back then. Like, remember that software that took screenshots of your computer 6 times an hour just to prove you were actually working? Yeah. But users put up with it for one very simple reason. They had a fair, universally loved pricing model. It was just a flat 10% fee on all work. Simple, clean, everyone understood it. But then in May 2016, they introduced a sliding fee scale. And this fundamentally shifted the platform's dynamic forever, setting the stage for a really high-pressure IPO in 2018.
Think about the stark contrast between the old way and the new way. Under this new sliding scale, freelancers were suddenly getting hit with a massive 20% fee on their first $500 with any new client. Sure, it dropped to 10% up to $10,000 and 5% after that, but the reality, this actively punished short-term gigs. If you were doing one-off jobs, script writing, a quick graphic design, fixing a website bug, you almost never escaped that brutal 20% bracket. It was a huge hit to your bottom line.
But they didn't stop at squeezing the freelancers. They started squeezing the clients too. They introduced a brand new 2.75% processing fee. So let's put that into perspective with a quick USA-centric example. If a corporate client spends $100,000 hiring talent for a major project, suddenly they're hit with an extra $2,750 just in processing fees. This created a super weird dynamic that actually pitted clients against freelancers. Freelancers had to raise their rates just to survive that 20% cut, while clients were pushing back, trying to keep their own soaring costs down.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, the pay-to-play era and going public. In October 2018, Upwork successfully went public, raising $187 million. But going public comes with a massive long-term headache. Wall Street investors demand relentless quarter-after-quarter revenue growth. So Upwork had to figure out how to extract even more cash from its ecosystem. Their bright idea? A system called Connects. Basically, virtual tokens that freelancers had to buy just to submit a proposal for a job. Upwork's VP of product at the time, Jessica Tiwari, actually came out and said, "I actually do not believe that this change will make it harder for new freelancers." Right. The corporate spin was that charging to apply would cut down on spam. But on the ground, the harsh reality for users was very, very different.
The math on this escalated incredibly fast. A bundle of 10 connects cost $1.61. But a single job application? That could cost anywhere from 7 to 25 connects just to hit the apply button. And those free monthly connects they used to hand out slashed down to just 20. Suddenly, freelancers are forced into these bidding wars, spending their hard-earned cash just for the privilege of applying to jobs they might not even get. To put how crazy this is into perspective, imagine going on Indeed or LinkedIn right now, finding a job opening, and having to pull out your credit card to pay a premium fee just to hit submit on your resume. That is exactly what the Connect system did. It literally taxed the job hunt itself.
Now for Chapter 3, a pandemic illusion.
Now, you might be wondering, why didn't this instantly destroy the company? Well, the 2020 lockdowns triggered an unprecedented boom in remote work. And this massive wave temporarily masked the simmering anger of Upwork's core users. The explosive revenue growth driven by the pandemic was insane. They went from $300 million in 2019 up to $500 million in 2021 and eventually hit nearly $700 million by 2023. By mid-2021, the stock had skyrocketed to over $60 a share. From the outside, they looked absolutely unstoppable.
But here is the dramatic reality check.
Despite reporting record-breaking revenue and seeing this massive wave of Gen Z freelancers flooding the platform, Upwork actually reported an $89.9 million loss in 2022. Think about that. The core business model was fundamentally unprofitable. They were bringing in mountains of cash, but somehow burning through it even faster.
So, to appease Wall Street, what did they do? They squeezed the users again with a totally chaotic 2023 pricing shakeup. Step 1, they finally brought back the flat 10% fee. Sounds great for new users, right? But step 2, it severely punished their top earners. Veteran freelancers who had crossed that $10,000 mark with a client were used to a nice 5% rate. Well, that was scrapped, which meant their fees effectively doubled overnight. And step 3, they slapped on a brand new $4.95 contract initiation fee. So now they were charging money just to start a job, no matter how small it was.
Chapter 4. Black Box Pricing. Algorithmic Fees.
The true breaking point came in 2025. This is when predictability was just entirely thrown out the window. Remember that flat 10% fee they just brought back? Yeah, scrapped again. This time, it was replaced by dynamic pricing, driven by a completely hidden algorithm. The confusing variables dictating your fees now included supply, demand, skill competition, overall market conditions, and these incredibly vague categorization factors. Users had absolutely zero transparency. You could literally have two people doing the exact same job being charged completely different fees. Freelancers essentially lost all control over their own profit margins.
The sheer frustration of this is hard to even put into words. You're facing a hidden fee ranging anywhere from 0 to 15%, but you don't even know what that fee is going to be until after you submit a proposal. Honestly, it was just an incredibly greedy tactic. If you happen to work in a highly competitive category, you were essentially getting taxed just for existing in that space. Which leads us into Chapter 5, a dying marketplace, the definitive end.
Years of this relentless extraction finally caught up with them. Alienated freelancers and frustrated clients just had enough. They stopped signing up. They started migrating to alternative, much more transparent niche marketplaces that didn't treat them like a limitless ATM. And the numbers simply do not lie. In Q1 of 2026, Upwork reported year-over-year revenue growth of just 1%. Now, in the tech world, 1% isn't growth, it's undeniable stagnation. It's a massive red flag to investors, signaling that the market is mature and a steep decline is right around the corner.
And of course, actions have consequences. The corporate restructuring that immediately followed was brutal. In May 2026, Upwork was forced to slash roughly 24% of its workforce, laying off around 145 people. This was the direct, undeniable consequence of their failed monetization experiments just totally blowing up in their faces.
Compounding all this internal chaos were massive external threats. The rise of AI tools like ChatGPT completely gutted the entry-level work that used to be the absolute backbone of Upwork. Specifically, writing projects dropped by a massive 32% year over year. When you combine the loss of those entry-level jobs with the crushing fee hikes we talked about, the platform's entire ecosystem just started to collapse.
The reality on the ground today is incredibly grim. Just listen to this first-hand account from a freelancer in 2026. I submitted proposals to around 150 jobs. Only around 30 jobs actually hired someone. The marketplace has basically devolved into a wasteland of ghost jobs. Users are spending real hard-earned money on connects to send proposals that literally never even get viewed by a client.
So this leaves us with a really profound question. When an algorithmic middleman starts extracting more value than it actually provides, is the gig economy fundamentally broken? Upwork started as this brilliant, simple way to connect the world's talent. But in the end, it really stands as a stark corporate autopsy. It's a massive warning about the long-term consequences of prioritizing relentless financial extraction over user trust. Thanks